Hey, good morning. Mark Lampkin here, your brother from another mother. It is Sunday, the 10th of January. And, some of the stuff that I've been involved in my life for at least the last 30 years has been high school basketball officiating. And one of the things that I believe I brought to each and every game that I ever officiated was an unbiased perception, meaning someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. I don't care who does. And looking at what has happened in our nation over the last couple of years, certainly with Trump and with this last election, where people who saw their candidate lose by a resounding number, so Trump lost by more than 7 million popular votes and 70 electoral college votes. So that's a loss. It's not like a small number decided this election. Just like in a basketball game, sometimes you win by 2 or lose by 3 or lose by a lot. And so you can't ask an official whether their input made a difference in the game, because usually it doesn't. But a funny story happened in 2002. The very first high school basketball game for the very new then Hercules High School. And I lived in Hercules, and my son Cameron was a sophomore at the time at Hercules High. Didn't play basketball. So the game was between California High School and Hercules High. And at the end of the game, Hercules won by 40. And we're trying to allow the players to finish their, after the game stuff. And a kid ran out to the floor where me and my partner were at the center circle waiting to go to the table and leave. And the kid said, "Hey, someone said that your son is a student here at Hercules High. That's not fair." And I looked at the kid. I looked at the scoreboard, of which their team lost by 40, and said, "Do you really think my son going to school here would have made a difference?" And so I use that as an analogy of what's going on in our nation. So this is more than just about how badly Trump lost. You can't dispute the fact that he lost so soundly. But there are those who still will do that, who will still believe that it was stolen and that there's unfair tactics being taken. And in what we saw on January 6th, the storming of the nation's capital by those who have believed the lies that Donald Trump and his minions, which include his family and Rudy Giuliani and Ted Cruz and others, have fomented. So just like in a basketball game, in an election, somebody wins, somebody loses. At some point you have to move on. And our nation needs to move on, but it can't unless and until those who are responsible for now, I believe 5 or 6 deaths from what happened last week, are held accountable. We can't have that. You see, if that kid had punched me because their team lost by 40, he would have been arrested, suspended, likely expelled from school and such. So I wouldn't have looked past that and said, "Oh, well, he's just upset because his team lost by 40. Even if his team had lost by 2, the fact that my son attended that school, didn't even play on the team, would have had no bearing on the outcome of that game. Because me, Mark Lampkin, every game that I officiate, I give my best, and will always say, "Hey, you play your best and let the best team win today." I'll never be concerned about who wins or loses in that basketball game. My goal is to make sure it's fair and the kids are safe and that it's a fun environment. If only we can remember that in America and in sports going forward. Peace and power to we, the people.